Welcome to the Gadget 360 show. This is Rajiv Makni and I've got a really cool lineup of things for you. We'll start and kick things off with the Amazon Echo Show 10. Yes, one more Amazon Echo device, but this one is looking good. Then we'll move on to a portable projector. Now this is becoming a big market. It's for about 90,000 bucks. Speaker built in, lots of cool things including battery. Then we'll move on to a watch, the GIZMORE GIZFIT 910 and the LENOVO Smart Clock Essential. Small little smart clock, very nice looking, under 3,000 rupees from Lenovo. Let's get started with the Gadget 360 show.
Carl Pays Nothing will be launching their first product, the Ear One earbuds, at the price of 5,999 rupees in India on 27 July. The earbuds will come with a transparent design and active noise cancellation. Now, the only question that remains is whether they turn out to be something or exceptionally nothing. LG has finally launched the rollable TV in USA for $100,000, roughly 75 lakh rupees. It was initially revealed at CES back in 2018. It consists of a 65-inch 4K OLED screen which rolls up and back down into its housing unit. This housing unit also contains a front-firing Dolby Atmos sound system.
Our top story today is the Amazon Echo Show 10. Now the Echo Show series has become very famous because, you know, it's got a speaker built in, it's got a big screen, and this one is really big. 10.1 inches built on top of a nice powerful speaker. You don't need to really connect it to anything else. Of course, it has all the Alexa capabilities. They just work. Just has an added screen on top of it, Prime Video, Netflix integrated. The screen has a camera which detects motion and follows the user by spinning around the base. Now that's the other new feature. Camera on screen can also be used for video calls. Now one of the parts that I've always liked about the Echo Show, in fact almost all Echo devices, is the far field mics. They work very well. You can be across the room and you can still talk to it and it does respond very well. Speaker sound quality, this time I thought wasn't as good as what I thought the last series were. Motion tracking works well but only in very well lit environments, priced at just under 25,000 rupees. This is our review.
The Amazon Echo Show 10 is a smart speaker with a screen and a camera. Not just any camera, a camera that follows the user. Is it a good feature or just a gimmick? Is it a privacy concern? Is it any good? Let's find out. The Amazon Echo Show 10 is pretty simple with its design. It looks and works like a smart speaker with a 10.1-inch HD display simply stuck onto it. The display has a 13-megapixel camera beside it. On the top are buttons for muting the mic, volume controls and a physical camera shutter switch. Both the speaker and display sit on a motorized base which enables the speaker to take a 360-degree turn. The display shows the time, news headlines and suggestions according to the time of the day. One can use the display to watch videos on YouTube through the browser or pull up their favorite show, all possible due to the Netflix and Prime Video integration. The UI is also simple. Swiping down from the top reveals quick settings and a button to go home. A swipe from the right reveals options meant for setting up smart features. With the camera below the display and the mics, the Echo Show can detect motion and detect where the user is, and because of that, it can follow the user by turning the display towards the direction that the user is going in. It is especially useful when there is a need to watch content while moving around the room. And since the Echo Show can also be used for video calls, motion detection also helps in keeping the user centered in the frame. The camera can also be accessed by the user remotely through the Alexa app available for all smartphones. Moving on from the display and camera, the Echo Show sounds average. The mids and highs seem okay, but the bass is muddy and sometimes overpowering. This can be altered in the settings, but only so much. As a result, the speakers are not good for music and only decent for shows and movies. When it comes to the mics, they are the best in class. No matter how loud the noise around the room or the music on the speaker, the mics never fail to pick up the wake word or the subsequent commands. With mics so good and the motion detection enabled by the camera, privacy becomes a big concern for the user. In recognition of that, the user can mute the mic and physically slide over the camera shutter. The user can also disable motion altogether right from the home screen. Additionally, motion detection can be disabled entirely or enabled for only a select few operations or when the user specifically tells Alexa to follow them.
Alexa, follow me.
Overall, the Echo Show is a smart and useful device. It does everything an Echo device has always done, with a screen on top of it to provide additional features of video calling, watching content, and having a UI for simple control of one's home. But at a price of 24,999 rupees, along with the privacy concerns and a speaker that is simply not good enough, these additional features also seem needless, and so our recommendation would be to skip the Echo Show 10 and go for a cheaper smart display or just another Echo device that costs less.
Let's move on to our next top story. This is a portable projector. I hope I'm pronouncing it right because people keep telling me different ways to pronounce it. I think it should be XGIMI. So the XGIMI Halo portable projector. Portable projectors becoming a big deal, and this one can do a lot. It's shaped like a Bluetooth speaker, nice battery inside, also projects a 1080p full HD image, can go up to 150 inches because that's really pushing it. Brightness of the lamp is limited to only 800 lumens, so works really well only in an almost completely dark room. Lens has a camera beside it which helps in focusing the projected image automatically. That feature works quite okay. Speakers are inbuilt, made in collaboration with Harman Kardon, so that's one part again that works well. Has Android TV on board, so the user interface is nice and snappy and you can pretty much do anything with it. But it's not Netflix certified, so that I think is a bit of a miss. The external streaming devices can be connected to it, so again that's something that you can do, but why would you really need it? It's got a nice big battery, but in our test it only lasted about 1.5 hours if you're watching content at a very reasonable brightness. So who is this right for? Well, we're going to tell you when we actually review it for you.
The most common way of making technology better is by reducing it in size. It starts as something really big, and when it is at its pinnacle, it is something that can fit into the palm of your hand. Now, the piece of tech that we're going to talk about today doesn't really fit into the palm of your hand yet, but it can be held with your own two hands, packed into a bag, and be used from anywhere. It is the XGIMI Halo, which has everything that makes a projector work crammed into a small box along with a large battery, and we review it to see whether it is at a pinnacle, and if not, then how far behind is it. Design-wise, XGIMI has done well. The projector has the lens right on the front with a camera beside it. The top has 3 buttons, volume controls and a play-pause button. The back has the port for the power cable, an HDMI port, a USB-A port and a power button. The speakers are underneath the front and sides of the projector. The back has vents for the fans, which are surprisingly quiet when the projector is on at full brightness. There is a peg under the projector to mount it onto a tripod, along with a small stand to adjust its angle. The image produced by the lamp is great. Even though it is limited to 1080p in resolution, it can go as big as 150 inches. The image is sharp and filled with rich colors and details, but the lamp is limited to a brightness of 800 lumens. Hence, it is better to use the projector with the least light possible in the room. Regardless, watching movies and shows at full brightness with this small projector is a lot of fun. The camera beside the lens is very useful. During the initial setup or anytime the projector is accidentally bumped while being used, the camera helps in maintaining the focus of the image being projected, and the projector can also be placed at an angle from the surface and the projected image can be adjusted accordingly. The speakers in the projector are very loud, they are clear and they have a great amount of low end. They've been made in collaboration with Harman Kardon and it shows. The sound comes out of the front and the sides of the projector, so optimally it should be placed either behind the viewer, beside the viewer, or only a few steps ahead of the viewer. After being done with both audio and visual parts, let's talk about the platform on board that delivers it. The XGIMI Halo comes with Android TV. The UI is snappy and has no stutters, and with all of the apps that come with Android TV, access to a plethora of content is easy. Except when it comes to content from Netflix, because this device is not Netflix certified. Hence, the Netflix app refuses to work. An external device can be connected through the HDMI port to remove this problem, but that makes the portability aspect of the projector less effective. Another aspect that makes it less effective is the battery. The XGIMI Halo does have a sizable 17,100 mAh battery, but while watching content at a reasonable level of brightness, the battery lasts about 1 to 1.5 hours. So the portability aspect seems to only be limited to the small size, making it easy for a user to set up this projector in multiple places, but given that a power source needs to be close by. So while the XGIMI Halo is an ambitious step forward, it is certainly not the pinnacle. It is still a very portable little projector which is capable of projecting a 150-inch image with a whole lot of versatility in how it projects it. And at the price of 90,500 rupees, it is meant for only those users who want to enjoy regular movie nights with a projector that they can easily set up anywhere around the house.
One more day, one more smartwatch, but this time I have something very different for you. This is not run-of-the-mill, but it's priced well. GIZMORE GIZFIT 910. Very nice minimal design, comfortable strap, so it's taken care of the ergonomics and everything else. 1.28-inch display, which is very bright, but somehow we always thought it lacked a little bit of sharpness. Very simple user interface, swipe-based with a single button on the side, so they've made it very easy. You can't really go wrong. Sensors work reasonably well, reading almost always accurate, but then it is a watch for about 5,000 rupees. It has features like continuous heart rate tracking, reminders to drink water, alert for moving in case of inactivity. So it's got more or less what you want. Breathing app is also available, so that's something that they've added on. Battery lasts for about 10 to 15 days. Gets all the basics of a smartwatch, right? And then adds some very, very useful features. Then I told you, priced at about 5,999, but it's available for much lower prices. This is our review.
All a budget-oriented product needs is getting the basics right in the best way possible. If the basics are done right, then every user who buys the product gets the use that they intended to have out of it, and the job is done. One such product is the GIZMORE GIZFIT 910, a budget-oriented smartwatch that tries to get everything that one needs out of a smartwatch at a price that is less than 6,000 rupees. Now the GIZFIT 910 is excellently designed. Subtle and minimal is the name of the game. The glass on the front curves into the sides, and underneath the curvature are small stripes that give the watch a unique look. The back is made of plastic and the dial is built out of a metal alloy. The strap is soft and perforated, which helps in avoiding sweat buildup. The lightweight dial and the soft strap combined make this watch comfortable to wear the entire day. The front of the watch has a 1.28-inch IPS display. It gets bright enough for the outdoor sun. It lacks sharpness, but it gets the job done for the user. As for what shows up on it, the UI of the watch is really simple and basic. The navigation is swipe-based along with a single button on the side. This button can be used to go back in the UI or turn the display off. Swiping up shows all of the widgets, swiping down shows quick settings, and swiping right or left shows all of the apps on the watch. The sensors on the watch work reasonably well, and the GIZFIT app works in sync with the watch to help the user take better care of themselves. Both the step count and heart rate are almost always accurate. Even though it is available, the SpO2 sensor on smartwatches in general cannot be trusted because of the difference in the way it is read. Workouts are tracked well, and the basic information is broken down simply in the GIZFIT app. The watch is also capable of tracking heart rate periodically or continuously throughout the day, and it can be configured from the GIZFIT app. One can also enable periodic reminders for drinking water and a reminder to move around if the watch detects an hour of inactivity. There is even a breathing app which adds mindfulness to your day with its guided breathing exercise. All these capabilities were pleasantly surprising given our expectations set according to the price. And with everything that the watch can do, GIZMORE promises a 15-day battery life. In our testing, with the periodic heart rate monitoring switched on, brightness set to full, all notifications enabled, the watch was at 87% after 2 days of use. So the claim might not be achieved with these settings, it can possibly be achieved with slight alterations. As has been the case throughout this review, the GIZFIT 910 does well in all the basics for a smartwatch. It is designed well, comfortable to wear, and with a very utility-focused feature set and a great battery life. And with the price of 5,999 rupees for everything this watch can do, we can easily ignore the slight inaccuracies of the sensors. You can even find it for a lower price online. As we said at the start of the review, all a budget product needs to do is get the basics right. After that, the job is done, and GIZMORE has got the job done.
Let's take a quick break right now. On the show, when I come back, lots more happening. Let's move on now to the Lenovo Smart Clock Essential. So really nice looking, cute, small little thing. Alarm clock with Google Assistant enabled speaker built in, works very well, responds very quickly, very easy to set up, has a digital display up front which can show you time, day, weather or other things that you really want, maybe a notification. Functions like an alarm clock with Google Assistant features enabled and built in. I really liked it. You can control a lot more than just an alarm clock. Control smart light switches. It'll answer simple questions for you. Also has a nightlight feature on the back which can be controlled by Google Assistant. So, something that you may think about if you tend to go to the bathroom at night. Has a mute switch and a USB port to charge other devices. But the best part, from Lenovo, very well built and priced at $2,999.
The most underrated tech comes into existence when the tech of the old is upgraded with modern day innovation. One such simple yet underrated piece of tech is the Lenovo Smart Clock Essential. It is essentially an alarm clock with a bit of smartness added to it through Google Assistant. How is it underrated and how smart is it? Let's find out. The initial setup is done through the Google Home app with simple on-screen steps. Once it is set up, the front display automatically detects the correct time. It also shows what day it is, the temperature outside and the weather conditions. The top, sides and bottom of the clock are covered in fabric. The top also has 4 buttons. 2 buttons for volume control, a play-pause button and an alarm button. Pressing the alarm button shows the next scheduled alarm. If there are multiple alarms set, they can be cycled through by pressing the alarm button repeatedly. These buttons can be used to set or delete alarms, but the simplest way to set an alarm is by asking Google to do it for the required time and day. When an alarm starts ringing, pressing the alarm button dismisses it, while pressing any of the other 3 buttons snoozes the alarm for 10 minutes. And of course, you can ask Google to both snooze or dismiss the alarm. Underneath the fabric is the single mono speaker. The user can ask Google Assistant to play anything that they want. The audio coming out of the speaker is loud for the small size with clear highs and vocals but lacking in bass. Google Assistant can be given standard commands like turning smart lights and switches on or off, giving weather information, reminders, answering simple questions and so on. On the back of the clock there is a night light that circles corners on the back. This night light can be switched on or off by holding the volume down button or by asking Google Assistant. It also controls the brightness of the light. The night light is a simple yet great thing to have. Along with the light, there is a USB-A port to charge other devices, which is very convenient. There is also a mute switch for disabling the mics for privacy. With the Google Assistant smartness added to a simple bedside clock, Lenovo has created a product that does what it always has, along with catering to functions that have been added to our homes with modern innovation. Priced at 2,999 rupees, it is certainly more expensive than most alarm clocks, but with the smart speaker behind it, it provides more utility than any of the other alarm clocks can.
That then, of course, was the Gadget 360 show with me, Rajiv Makhni. I will be back next week with a whole lot more. I'll see you then.